Welcome to Glitch Please, the show where we talk about video games and all the things we love about them or hate about them every single week. I'm Ashley.
I'm Cole.
I'm Ryan. Hello.
And together we are Car.
Voltron?
Team Car.
Team Car.
Car. Okay,
nice.
got it, yeah.
Nice,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
we made it.
That makes more sense than rack.
Yeah.
Quick note, just straight off the top, this is a pre-recorded episode. I mean, they're all pre-recorded, but this is pre-recorded earlier than usual because...
Extra pre-recorded.
Extra. We wanted to go above and beyond this week because we have Rooster Teeth's live event week in Austin. The broadcast team is going to be on site for that. So we're recording a little bit early to prepare. Hello, Bernie. I do see you behind the camera.
Just looking at you.
And also there's a company meeting going on in the
Shouldn't you
next
be over
room.
there doing important
I
things?
was wondering what all the noise was.
Oh, how dare you.
We're making the noise?
No,
making-
they're making
Okay.
the noise. So yeah,
We're working.
Yeah.
They're faffing about.
if you hear random applause during this particular podcast, it's because the entire company is so supportive of our opinions.
Or because I got really excited. Could go either way.
But we do have a couple of fun topics to tackle this week. Since it is recorded a little bit earlier, it doesn't make a lot of sense for us to try and talk about news. 'Cause
Nothing
it'll all be so
topical.
updated.
It will
So
change.
instead, let's talk about like more, just overarching themes of gaming.
Philosophical.
One, we're going to talk about gamers' obsession with everyone who disagrees with them obviously being biased and possibly being bribed.
Shut up, I'm right.
And two, I want to talk a little bit about, because we're all like very different like stages of like family life and development and everything, but we all play video games. And so I want to talk about how that how like we make video games work with a family and friends, and if video games have brought us closer to people, and how we juggle time and all that. So let's lead off with talking about the obsession with bias. It's a very appropriate transition headlines. This is something that I want to talk about a lot of times because it comes up in whenever we report on something on the know. Someone will inevitably, who is not happy about the thing that's being reported, not even necessarily how it's being reported, but that something is being reported, is somehow a strike or an attack on their platform or game of choice or what have you. Or on the flip side, if you are reporting something that's good news and they didn't want it to be for some reason, then that's also a problem, and you probably took money for that. So it doesn't happen with everyone. There are a lot of very reasonable people and very reasonable gamers out there, but there are a lot of people who seem to think that you can't possibly disagree with them without somehow like being on the take or being like having an agenda to promote some other platform that's not their thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, have you encountered that online much, Cole?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, if anything, well, no, because we don't really do reporting on anything. I've never shown myself in any official capacity.
No, do you find that that's, but you see it in gaming. Did you see it quite as much when you, like with doing fan service and stuff when talking about different anime?
Yeah, though, I guess in anime, it's like, it would always be, what do you think about my favorite thing? And then if you didn't have the best response, it was then kind of a, well, why don't you like it?
You don't get it.
You have to like it, like you don't get it. It's like, no, we're gonna have different opinions. Like, I respect that you are passionate enough and love your thing enough to like be this aggressive about it, but there's gonna be stuff that I'm gonna like that you don't like and stuff that you don't like that I'm gonna like. Yeah, it never really got like, people were like, oh, well, you're biased about this. I don't know, like, I don't know if it's the anime community is a little more different than the games community, because like there is no, as far as we go, there is no reporting that happens. It's all kind of taking the information that Japan sends over and we go, yeah, this happened. So
It's almost like anytime you have an opinion,
yeah,
that you're not allowed to have an opinion that's different from their opinion.
yeah, no, I can definitely see that. There's this anime Sword Art Online that I think is just fine, and everyone in the world hates it. I'm like, it's fine.
Oh, everyone hates that?
Yeah.
It's totally fine.
Yeah, I was like, okay, like first season's really good, and then it kind of like drops
Then
off
it
to
wanders off.
mediocre, but it's like, it's no worse
It's
than any other
watchable.
show, and they're like,
hey,
no.
hey, it's watchable.
Well, that is
Yeah.
the highest possible praise.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, I've never been accused of like, oh, well, you're biased.
You're on the take, man.
Yeah, because they're like, no,
You're on the
you're
dole.
All
just,
of your agendas,
yeah,
Cole.
you're just this nerd in Texas talking about Japanese cartoons. So it's like, there's no way that you're getting a take off of this.
It's very strange. It
Lucrative
seems-
industry.
I will say though, there has been maybe some criticism of like Ruby in that regard, where it's like people talking about Ruby as like in the same line of anime, where people are like, no, it's absolutely not anime. Keep that out of our like. Don't talk about Ruby when you're talking about anime.
Well, you mean like the anime subreddit?
Yeah,
Like,
anime
it's not
subreddit.
allowed. But which is weird because Japan refers to it as an anime.
Japan refers to The Simpsons as anime. It's any cartoon.
Yeah.
But we Americans refer to it as it's a Japanese cartoon intended for a Japanese audience, made by Japanese people. So if any part of that pipeline is disturbed by a foreigner, then it's no longer anime.
A foreigner.
Foreigner.
Get your foreigners
An
out
American
of our
touched
anime.
this.
Yeah. American touch just a Frenchman, a
Unacceptable.
Canadian, get him out of here.
It's been a weird, and not to hijack it from gaming in particular, but I feel like there's been an undercurrent of there must be drama, there must be some kind of shadow thing happening to make you think this way, and it permeates all kinds of things. It's politics. I have some of these issues come up as a streamer, like if there's some changes in like the moderation of the channel, people will get upset.
Conspiracy.
Yeah, it's like there's people there's conspiring. People are tricking you. They're manipulating you. It's like, no, maybe in some cases it's just like you don't know the whole story. Or I think we as a company, I mean, there's rules in place whenever we have to, or having like a sponsored deal where we have to tell you. I mean, and I think that's for the best. Whenever I get, like I've been playing Subnautica on my stream recently. I don't think I have to say this, but I do say like, hey, they sent me a code for this. They gave it to me. They gave me the code for the game, and that is the extent. I always add the addendum, and that is all I am required to say at all. I don't even know that I'm required to say that they gave me the key. So everything after that is my opinion. You can watch and see if I'm having fun or not. And I do actually really enjoy that game. But yeah, I mean, we have to say, if we have a paid agenda, we got to say that to you. We can't like sneak it in there. That's not allowed.
Well, and this is something that I'm sure Achievement Hunter and also Achievement Huddle
We have a lot.
encounters a lot because you've got various like sponsored integrations, and you work with game developers and you do content for them. I mean, you guys were doing content on Ubisoft's YouTube channel for Ubisoft games, but then you'll have these other games as well that you just pick up and play because. And so there's got to be a lot of juggling there as far as like, do people weigh your gameplay experience on the sponsored stuff differently than the non-sponsored stuff?
That's a good question. I mean, how it affects their opinions. I mean, you should always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're watching someone that says this or not, if you should take their experience with a grain of salt. Maybe that's not always going to be the same for you. Maybe you're not going to enjoy it, and that's okay. But whether they say that they're openly promoting a product or whether they don't say that.
Even though, according to FCC rules, well, I don't mean the FCC is changing an awful lot, but as far as I know, there's still rules. You do have to say,
Absolutely.
if you have some sort of like monetary investment in if you were paid or if it's an integration like that, you do have to say that it is.
And we are always
Not everyone does,
very clear.
But you're supposed to. Yeah.
We're always very clear about, hey, this is a sponsored video. You say, and honestly, the funny thing is, even if, and maybe it's because of those regulations or whatnot, but whenever we have a sponsored deal, one of the major things is say that it's a sponsored in their copy. When they send you something and said, this is the points we would like you to highlight. It's like, say at the beginning that thanks to this person, sponsored. And usually what they'll give us whenever we have a thing like that is they'll have like, these are some high points, like, hey, these are the features of the game that we'd really like to highlight. And I mean, if you've ever watched the Achievement Hunter video, we're kind of shit at making it not obvious, where it's like, okay, and now the feature of the game that we are supposed to tell you about. Wow, look at the amazing immersive gameplay. All right, back to playing the game now. So, I mean, we're pretty transparent with the fact that largely because we're really shit at pretending not to be. But
And I think that's like what, from what I can tell, what audiences want. They
Yeah.
want that like kind of over pushing sense of transparency where it's like, okay, you've said it's an ad, but now prove it to me. Like prove it that you are selling the points.
Right.
And show me that this isn't your normal content. Like this isn't your normal, what you normally do in a game, just so we know for a fact that it's not. Yeah.
But I think that still gets the mindset out there, though,
Yeah.
that someone. Well, I mean, what I think that so the idea that we can do that we have occasional times where we're paid to do something like a video, puts it in people's minds, though, that, well, what if they're just not telling me? Like, what if I'm watching them? What if I didn't like that game and they had fun? So, were they just paid to do that?
Yeah.
Mind you, like there is, it is I think good to have some healthy skepticism about the the content that you're watching and who might have been involved, like because there are unethical content creators who don't disclose when they're paid to have an opinion, or if they're not directly paid, say they're worried about getting blacklisted. Say, there's a big, and this is purely hypothetical, this is not based on anything specific, but like say there's a big Call of Duty YouTuber. And they get the game early, and they get all this access, and they get to go to the studio, and they get to create all this content early, and they have an in. And because they have that in, they can create content that then people, their audience in particular, will really extra consume because it is exclusive, it's unique, they can't get it somewhere else. But if they were to, say, criticize the game, say this is shit, this is really the worst, and then Activision says, well, I mean, we don't really see the point in having you do stuff anymore, so like that's it. And that's not even necessarily like a blacklist, that's more of a gray list, because I'm not saying you can't have the game or anything like that necessarily. They're not playing it as critics either. So blacklisting is a little bit maybe of a different proposition. They're playing it as entertainers. But there is some incentive there for them to say nice things and have a good time in order to continue getting that direct access to the studio.
It's the old burn bridges paradox.
Yeah, well, and I think because, like YouTube and Twitch, like these are sort of new mediums with new people coming in, a lot of young people coming in who are just grateful to be here. Like I'm just, you know what? I'm just happy to be here. Who are having a good time, and they're happy to talk about the stuff that they like. In order
You say that, but
to keep that.
I feel like we're getting into a new realm here with YouTube where it started with a lot of people that were just like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm doing this and getting away with it. But now people have seen that you can do that, and we're getting into like a second round where people are expecting that that's something that you can do, which is really, really dangerous.
Well, it's like I've heard stories of like maybe like celebrities coming through and going, oh well, I could just stream. Like I could kind of get rid of the middlemen and all these other things. I have a base audience already. I could just like tell my Twitter followers, I have millions, just come watch me stream. And I mean, we were talking about a couple weeks ago the
Snoop Dogg thing.
Snoop Dogg, where he got busted for not actually playing the game.
I mean, he wasn't exactly being like,
I'm just playing.
between smoking. So he wasn't masking it all that severely, but it was a stream in which exclusive gameplay was debuted via him, and it was implied.
Yeah.
Just because on Twitch you sort of expect that people are playing the game,
And so-
and then that wasn't the case.
And so I'm pretty sure he was saying that this is an ad, like in that he was saying that this is, but even then people still kind of felt lied to. So
I think they felt lied to because they thought
yeah.
they thought he was supposed to be playing and then he wasn't.
Yeah, and so I can see that kind of progressing further to where it's just a general distrust of, okay, well, you're saying you're doing all this stuff with genuine interests, and people just want to, I mean, I know most YouTube watchers, Twitch watchers want to feel connected personally to whoever they're watching. And so the second there's kind of a wall in between that of, well, you're doing something that like I can't do, or that is not really something that I see in my day-to-day life when playing games, that kind of plants that seed of distrust.
Not to like expound it into tinfoil hat category.
No, bring it to
Yeah,
tinfoil hats.
I really, honestly, the climate of the country right now is that every news media outlet is lying to you one way or another. And I think that largely is spilling over into, every form of reporting, including gaming. But
although I would also say that to some degree, gaming preceded a lot of that. I feel like
you think so? You think gaming was the toe in the door to lying?
Okay,
news?
look, yes, it turns out.
This is what has caused the political theater?
Politicians are like, this is how we do it.
Where is
Actually, I
my
was
where
trying
is my
real hard
tinfoil
not
hat?
to say that.
No, but
They
I
already
think-
blame us for every gun violence.
But you can draw, a lot of like very interesting parallels. A lot of people are claiming that like Gamergate was sort of like a foreshadowing of the alt-right movement, and you can, there are plenty of non-parallels there, but that it was very much a polarization of the gaming community, and you had to fall into one of two extreme camps, and anyone who was in the middle was essentially the enemy of both sides.
Yeah.
And so you got this interesting like polarization, and on the Gamergate side, you had a lot of people not trusting journalists and media and reviews, and that was like the ultimate skepticism that every review was bought and paid for.
Well, and I mean that. You're right. That mirrors exactly kind of what we've got. It's all news these days has come down to we have to be the catchiest, extremist edge of something so that people are interested. It's got to, it's like,
Clickbait.
how do you make 24-hour news interesting? Well, it's got to be like drama. Got to have some shit going down. We can't just be like,
Sensationalism, yeah.
well, today people showed up to their jobs, they voted on things, and maybe they actually had a meaningful discussion. No, it's like, shit went down. You
This
see
is
motherfucking
the
Ted
biggest
Cruz? He
thing
didn't
ever.
vote.
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah, it all has to be like very exciting, very salacious, very extreme. And this is just with the noise floor of the internet, that's just becoming like, and it sucks, but it's the cost of doing business for a lot of outlets. I mean, if you look at like even the way we report about like video games and stuff, we have to figure out like, okay, we want to cover it. We want to talk about like all the context and like the background and the details. We like want to have this this really in-depth analysis about it. But first, you have to get someone to care enough to get in the door to learn about it. And and that's where like exciting headlines and caps come in. And we hated it when we started doing it, but views tripled on videos, and it didn't change. Like we still felt like within the content we're trying to do as much of the background and the discussion as we can. So we do that justice, but you still have to get people in the door.
I mean, sorry, go ahead.
And then what we found is like we would look at the like watch time on like the average watch time on videos didn't change, like it didn't drop. So once people got in, they were staying and learning more. But the noise floor is so high that unless it jumped out and was like, you need to know this, then they're probably gonna click on like the fluorescent video of someone's face going, ah.
Yeah.
Just because they're like, oh, that looks, that I should, that
Flashy.
was like candy.
It's crazy that half the battle in a YouTube video is the thumbnail.
Is clicking on it.
Like you just got to get them to click on it.
I mean, what it feels like as a content creator, and this is, you look at any news outlet and you'll see the exact same thing, is that simply presenting facts is no longer good enough.
Yeah.
So not only do you have to have the facts, you then have to have an opinion about it, and it's got to be a strong opinion.
But it'd better, but if you disagree.
That's not necessary.
You don't think so?
No. You have to have a strong opinion about it, whatever it is, and you have to present it aggressively as if it is also a fact.
Yeah.
And then people will either be like, yes, I agree with that strong opinion, which might as well be fact. And then that also gives the people who disagree the opportunity to go, no, you're stupid for having that strong opinion that might as well be fact, because this is the opinion that's fact.
Yeah, like people, it becomes just like who can shout the loudest the longest, and that's what makes the way things are.
If you try and watch a news show that's just fact. Try and find any news show that's just fact. And to be fair, it's dry. It's pretty boring if someone just rattles off a list of what. It's like watching the weather report. Even the meteorologists these days are like,
They gotta be
oh,
excited.
here comes the storm.
I have a bow tie.
Yeah.
Ah.
It's a cyclone bomb, which we just made up because it's never existed.
Like a good word, though. It got me invested.
I was like, I read it and I was like, are they just like making? They're just making shit up now, right?
So let me ask you this, though.
Okay.
How do you fix this?
So I think a couple things. It's gonna be difficult. It's on the one hand, healthy skepticism is important. I think that it is important to realize that you don't always have the full story on how and why content is made, and so it's good to have that in the back of your mind. But I think that aggressively accusing everyone of having some agenda to sell you is an overreaction. I think that a more measured response is the way to go here. I don't think that, like, every review, not bought and paid for, the mileage journalists or critics could get out of someone tried to blackmail us into, they were going to blacklist us, or they tried to blackmail us or extort us into this positive review. They can get so much more mileage out of that than just giving something a better score. So they're like, because then what are they going to do if you suddenly the next game comes along and the publisher goes, we don't really want to work with you. The outlet then gets to go, they don't want to work with us. You know why? Because we didn't.
We're the honest ones.
And you're gonna get like that. It's just gonna it's gonna go on and on and on. So it happens less than you think. It does happen, but oddly enough, I think that it's important to consider not only reviews and things like that, but that there are some entertainers out there who are also a little bit of a gray area. They're not necessarily disclosing it, and it's troublesome because so many people have started going to specific entertainment creators for that authentic voice and authentic opinion, and assume that is, that is just the way it is now. But that also needs the healthy skepticism. So a little bit of healthy skepticism for everyone. Maybe not witch hunt for just people that you disagree with.
Well, and it's important to note that don't ever go to one place to make an opinion about something. Yeah. If you do that, you have completely given up any kind of intellectual involvement in the situation. It's why so many things right now are falling apart. I can't say that enough. Please, don't let I am a this decide something for you without looking at any of the issues. Don't let one person talk to you and that'd be like, that's all I needed to hear. Go look it up.
And also specifically seek out opposing, opposing thoughts and opposing ideas, because you'll probably be able to find between the two where you actually feel about it.
The person that hates the thing that you like is right about some things.
Don't live in a bubble. I think that's the biggest problem we have right now, is everybody is in their own bubble and their own space where it's just an echo chamber of their own ideas.
Stupid internet letting people do that.
It's stupid, but it's also amazing that we can now go somewhere and talk to people about something we're extremely passionate about. Because I do remember a time when it was like, oh no, I liked Pokemon. I'm the only one at school who likes Pokemon. I'm just gonna go stand in that corner and play Pokemon.
How do you identify other ones?
Yeah, and then now you have Reddit, where it's like you can find millions of other fans of the same thing that you're fans of. And Reddit isn't the only place. Discord.
You have to use merch to identify other friends of the same thing.
But that's also brought about those echo chambers. I don't know how we fix that. I don't know how you tell people don't just go listen to, because it feels good. It feels good to feel justified. I hated this game. This other person hated this game. Yeah. That's an official voice.
Yeah, I think the real trouble is when you get people who want to be justified about hating stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think there is trouble with people who'll be like, how dare you criticize the thing I like? And that's a problem. Nothing is perfect. And that's why I think where a lot of you get the people with consoles who get very upset with each other, or with people who bought the other console, because they like their console and they are happy with it and they enjoy it and they want it to be beautiful and perfect, and unfortunately sometimes interpret criticism as an attack on this thing that they like for not being perfect.
Attack on what they like and attack on their decision. It's like you
Yes.
had the choice to buy another console or go with a PC, and I think it's all about ecosystem. It's whatever you've set yourself up to enjoy the best. But even when you say that, it's like, oh well, you're just saying that I picked wrong. I didn't get the PC. I got the Xbox. Yada yada, and they don't want people want to feel like they made the right choice and tell other people they made the wrong choice to kind of bolster their own maybe insecurities about that. I spent a lot of money on this. This better be worth it. So I'm going to tell everybody else it's not worth it to get the lesser thing.
Yeah. Well, and then I agree with you there. And there's a difference as well between preference and bias.
Yes.
I think if you say, I really enjoy my weird Japanese stuff. I tend to buy PlayStation as a result of that because that's where I can get a lot of those games that I like. I really prefer the online gameplay ecosystem of Xbox Live, so that's what I get. Like, everyone's got preferences, and there are reasons for those. But that's different from necessarily bias. Liking Xbox Live doesn't mean that you're biased against PlayStation or against Nintendo. It just means that you have a personal preference for that ecosystem.
But I mean, at the same time, I mean, heck, I do it all the time in terms of like mocking Nintendo.
Oh, I know
PlayStation.
you do.
It's just for fun, though. It's because I know that people will get riled up about it. I really don't care. Like, the platforms are all fine. I just like to tease people that get upset about
At a certain point, I also do feel like
You like to tease us. Well, and there's a difference as well if you're like riling up
Poking the
friends
bear,
that you
yeah.
know well.
Well, and then the internet's kind of like my friend, and I'm poking you.
Yeah, it's all in jest. And at a certain point, I do think it's a vocal minority. It's a lot of people who are like, since they're so passionate about something, they're going to be squeaky wheel gets the grease. You're going to hear them more than you're going to hear the people who are like, I agree with you. Like, I don't ever write.
Because they'll just go, and go about their day.
I don't ever write comments that are like, you know what, you're right. I actually don't write any comments, but.
I agree with you, good sir.
Yeah.
This discussion is now closed.
Yeah.
As I'm sitting here, though, I mean, it's less the bias, but just the strong opinions and how people will band. And I mean, it's not like it's a new issue. Like nationalism, religion. I mean, these things have caused the same sort of conflicts throughout human history.
You mean we're not going to solve the entire issue on this specific episode of Glitch, Please?
What if we did, though?
It's a defense mechanism. It's you want to be part of a pack. I mean, that's like why
We're all wolves.
why bullying exists. It's not as much like you want to bring somebody else down. It's you want to put yourself
Over them.
in the camp with other people. You want to identify who the odd man out is, and you put a platform here that, okay, I've now assigned everybody to this group. I'm part of that group, and we've now identified who's not part of that group. So you're identifying who the runt of the litter or who the
It's always the cool kids versus the nerds.
even when it's about nerds, you're like,
Man,
oh,
when I was in high school, there were, like, it was like I'd say like upper middle class, like almost 100% white Mormon high school.
Mormon high school, okay.
Yeah, not like officially Mormon, but just
Right.
everyone was. And
Unofficially.
there were so few of us like black sheep that, you normally you get the cliques. You're like, here's the cowboys over here, and here's your jocks over here, and here's your cheerleaders, and here's like, and then you'll be like, here's the hippies, and here's like, we had to have the goths, the skaters, some of the drama nerds, the non-religious ones. Did I say the hippies already?
No.
The hippies, like, they all had to like make one clique
Just band
because
together.
there weren't enough
You had,
of
like,
any
one of
one
each.
grouping. Yeah, you'd have like
you were a
two.
bipartisan high school.
It was like, then we would just like go and sit in like our little area and be like,
Well, I'll give them this. The Mormon clique was at least probably very polite.
they were very nice. They just spent a lot of time being like, I think you should read this book. You'd learn a lot from it. I was like, I read the comic version. I'm cool. 'Cause they did make a comic book version of the Book of Mormon. And that's the only way anyone could get me to read it.
Oh, that must be so much friendlier than the Mennonite comic books. Those are scary.
Have not tried those. I'll pick them up at my next
There's a lovely
religious
little
comic.
Convention.
rural
yeah.
restaurant in Georgia that we used to stop at sometimes, and they're just the nicest people, and they make really good like down-home food. Then on your way out, there's a little rack next to the door that's all these comic books that little happy-looking characters on the front, but the titles are like "Why You're Going to Burn."
Oh.
They're very serious about
Juxtaposition.
saving you. They're jumping right to the A material for why you should sign up.
Cool.
That's all I'm
Well,
saying.
I mean, honestly, I prefer being hot to being cold. Like, that's my weather preference, so I'm good. I'm good. Let's burn.
Let's all burn together.
Yeah. And on the flip side, I think the other thing that people can do to be part of the solution, I'm not going to solve it, but be part of the solution is the motto. This is one of my favorite mottos of all time. Whatever floats your boat.
Yeah.
Live and let live.
Yeah. You're not a Nintendo guy? That's fine.
And I mean,
I like Nintendo.
Again.
They're not perfect. They're like when we talk about things,
Yeah.
we'll be like, oh, their voice, and this is like, you'll be like, oh, their voice chat solution, not great. And someone will go, how dare you?
Bias.
It's not great.
it's I feel like I'd be hypocritical to say that I can fix the solutions to this that don't involve stopping doing things that I do. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that just like to do the same thing, where they're like, I'm just gonna poke the bear for fun. And not because they have actual malice, but unfortunately, when you're doing that on the internet in a line of text, it's like, this person wants to kill me.
Yeah,
This
intent
person
isn't known.
We need, again, it all goes back to that thing I've always said. We need a better system of delivering like
forced
emotional content.
and emojis.
Yeah.
They are they just added like 100 and something new emoji.
Maybe that's just
Maybe that's the solution.
You have to start every
because we
sentence
just
with
need
an emoji.
more, mood emoji. So,
Yeah.
oh my God, Mass Effect knew the solution. Renault, those big elephant-like aliens,
Yeah.
and
With, like,
they're
pensive-
totally monotone,
Gotcha.
but they will let you know their mood or their intent with every sentence.
Well, we got the start of that with on Reddit the /s.
Yeah, a little bit.
Just this one's sarcastic.
But they put it after. So we need to move it before, and we need to do that for every possible emotion and intent.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, cool. All right,
Run with that for a bit.
you guys, I think we fixed the bias problem.
We fixed the internet.
Oh, or we could just get like one of those neurochips that put it in your head, and then we put a light on your like forehead, so it's like because
So it's like
we gotta fix news reporters too, because they're saying
It's like a
shit.
mood ring.
Yeah,
Hey,
you need like
oi,
a forehead.
Oi, oi.
Look, like I'm talking about all news reporters. Like, it's anytime they can see you on camera, that you need to have like the mood thing on your forehead.
To be like, this part is factoricidal. This is
There you go.
is speculation and personal bits.
I just want it playful, or when it's like
Pretty dystopian, really quick.
angry. Yeah, no, and then we'll all go to carousel.
Yeah.
We're designing the next episode of Black Mirror.
Oh my gosh.
No, it is a thing though, and it's something that with newsy stuff we try and keep in mind, because we do have like, here's the recital, like here's the facts, but like here's this and here's this and here's this, and we do throw in like, personally I like this thing, this, I'm very curious to see what happens here, but I think we can always do a better job of separating out, like here's the recital of fact, here's like speculation and like personal thought.
Yeah.
If only there was a way to create a news agency that is not dependent on money.
It's really difficult.
Because
It's
they
really
still got
difficult.
to pay their families.
The way we do it, at least for the No, we have almost no insight into sponsored content that's happening elsewhere in Rooster Teeth. So like, I have no idea what you guys are or are not doing that's sponsored at Achievement Hunter or anything else, or like in live action, whatever. Just no clue. We intentionally stay out of the loop there.
Compartmentalize.
And then also we can't obviously control revenue for the rest of the company, but we're also not judged on the revenue of the rest of the company. We're judged on our own, and so we made a rule not to take any endemic sponsorships. So we won't take any game sponsorships whatsoever, and that's the closest we can get to being like, well, we're not dependent on the game company's money.
And whenever I come over here, I completely take off the
You take off your Achievement Hunter hat.
Funny.
Oh gosh.
How the yeah, I mean, whatever I say here, it's pretty much. I don't think I've ever held back an opinion because I knew of a deal in Achievement Hunter. It's
Yeah.
always been. I'm just gonna tell you what I think because this is a different
Ryan,
world.
we'll be your safe
This
space.
is a different building. That's a whole other.
It is a
place.
different building.
Yeah.
And operate, just take money from everything.
Yeah, just
always get paid so you're always.
if I stood up right now, there would be bills spilling out
just
of my
spilling out,
pockets. Yeah.
So much money.
Yeah.
So, all right, I think we've solved the problem. I think we solved the problem.
Forehead mood rings.
Forehead mood rings. 2, whatever floats your boat. And 3, you need to, before any statement, clarify what the intent of that statement is going to be.
And do your research, damn it.
Yeah, and
Get out there and look around.
look for opposing opinions, and then find your way somewhere.
bathe
in the middle.
in them.
Because the worst is you're proven right.
Yeah.
Like best case scenario is you get to learn something new. Worst case is you've proven yourself right.
And at the end of the day, we're talking about entertainment. Just have fun. Please.
Yeah, it's stuff that-
let people have fun their way. You have fun your way. We don't need to get mad.
We don't
Bolster up.
We don't need to like the same things. In fact, if
Yeah,
we did
exactly.
all like the same things, it would be a very boring place and probably not an industry that could survive.
And no boats would be floated.
Encourage other people to have a good time. Try that for once, you know?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I didn't like it, but hey, I'm glad that you're a gamer because that means that more games get made.
Exactly. I love
Exactly.
it. I almost love it more than anything is when somebody's like, you don't like this. Here's why I think you should like it. I'm like, oh, you love this so much that you want to tell me why I should love it. Like,
It is sometimes really fun selling people on the thing that like you love. It's a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
selling is best done nicely, not aggressively.
Yeah.
If you come at somebody and be like, you fucking idiot, you should like this, then they're just going to say, hell with you out of spite.
Yeah.
You may turn them against that thing forever just because you were an asshole.
Yeah, so
More than likely
don't
you
be an
will.
asshole.
Yes.
But on the note of being fantastic to share gaming with others and how great it is and like all the different types of games and all the people who like games and how amazing it makes it, I want to talk about how gaming affects relationships between people, like friends and family and stuff. So let's talk about that. Yay!
That was someone that did actually a Robotech mecha from what was that, Kerbal Space Program?
Yeah, so cool. I've got a Bernie and I've got 2 stepkids. You have a lovely wife and you have some smaller kids.
Two kids.
What,
yeah.
what ages are your kids?
Uh,
They grow up so fast that every time you give me an update, I'm like, oh my god, it's been like they're adults.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah, the 6 and 4.
that's crazy. I remember
Yeah.
they were so young.
They're tiny, but not as tiny as they once were.
I remember when one was born.
I started the company I started working at the company when the first one was born, basically, and then the second one was a couple of years later.
Wow. And then, how many kids do you have, and how many wives?
well, 30 kids now.
By
I'm
area
single
code.
with no kids.
So,
But I have a family. I have a brother and
What?
a sister.
That's not how any
didn't
of
come
that
from
works.
nowhere. Okay, good.
you know,
You're not a
and-
pod person.
So we all play video games. We have all played video games for a long time. Cole, when did you start playing video games?
As early as I can remember. My dad had a Super NES.
So it's like a family introduction.
Yes, though he quickly flipped the switch and was like, games are the devil. Like, bad grades are games' fault. And we still just played them. But no, it was like, yeah, he had a Super NES with like Super Mario World. Or even I remember like sitting on his lap. And I don't know what this says about me, but one of the
We're
first
all
games I remember
ears.
playing is Duke Nukem. Like, I
Wow,
just sit on his lap and play Duke Nukem.
Okay.
Solid
So,
start.
yeah.
Solid start. When did you start?
When video games started, basically. Yeah, no.
I don't think that's a thing.
I remember, well, no, to be fair, video games started a little before that, if you want to go to like Pong and like some of the really hardcore arcades. But if you're talking about home systems, I mean, I had an Atari 2600, had a friend of mine had a Commodore 64, had the Trash 80 I talked about before. So yeah, I mean, I remember gaming back to when you had to make half the game yourself.
Do you know what a Trash 80 is?
No,
Cole?
I do not.
It's a TRS 80, which was basically it looked like a big fat keyboard
Okay.
that you plugged into your TV, and it had a slot for cartridges. It had only RAM, no solid state memory. So you had to plug the cartridge in, and that didn't have enough space, I guess, to actually have the entirety of whatever it is you wanted. So it came with a booklet that you would have to then program the TRS 80 to do whatever the cartridge could do.
That's
This is it.
This is it.
a lot.
And then, yes, you could have we didn't have the tape deck, and this is just a TV.
But like the tape deck, do you have to press play at the right time, and it would?
I don't even know. I think that was how this is an optional, like, ability to maybe have some form of solid state recording, but we didn't have that. We just had this thing.
Jesus.
Yeah. So
And it was
Come a long way.
This was more graphics
now,
than I
now
ever
you
saw
got
as
all
far as
your
video.
Ks
yeah.
and your
Yeah.
HDRs. Oh,
Big applause
someone's-
for
The
4K.
TRS. Hey,
Hear that?
everybody.
Yeah.
Behold the future of gaming.
the Trash 80. Yeah, so like you started quite young. Did you play games with your family when you were younger?
Sorta. Like, Dad and I played on that, and then after that, it took kind of a while before I had family members to play with. Like, I had video games, so I didn't really play together.
Wow. The
It's-
company really likes that you
They
were
do.
lonely.
Now with
I was
live
a very
studio audience.
solitary kid.
Yeah.
Yes.
I started playing video games. At least the first thing that I can like remember, like identifying as playing video games was it's NES. My mom and dad got me, my brother, and my sister the NES that had it was like a bundle. It came with the power pad, and it came with the zapper, and it came with one cartridge that had Super Mario Brothers, Duck Hunt, and World Track Meet on it, and you know, it's the easy leap from like, oh, this is really fun to like the now time-honored tradition of figuring out how to screw your brother and sister out of additional turns so that you get all the turns. And as the oldest, I was very good at it. You know, and so that's how I started. I started playing with family, and then we would go to, you know, we'd go to a cousin's house and play video games with them. I didn't really play with my parents at all. Ever. And I didn't really play anything solo until I got into PC stuff with Myst. Or maybe like Oregon Trail and stuff. But even that was probably like playing next to someone else in the computer lab, being like, ha 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 ha, dysentery.
I mean, it's worth noting that at the time, co-op was a very different thing in most cases. Very rarely on the home systems early on did you have things that you could literally both play at the same time. It was like, my turn, your turn.
Yeah, a lot of like player one, player two. You know, there were the occasional things that you could be
Supposedly
going
you could
head-to-head,
control the
but-
duck in Duck Hunt.
You know what? I hear that. We never tried it.
I
And
tried it.
yeah.
I'm not convinced that it actually works.
I don't know where to find a TV and an entire
Yeah.
setup to test this,
CRT.
but I kind of want to.
I mean, I remember I tried it, and sometimes it felt like it was working, and sometimes it didn't, which makes me wonder if it wasn't just that I convinced myself that the random
Just-
movements
yeah,
were the ones
coincidence.
were my decisions.
You're like, no, I meant to move it in that direction.
Because it wasn't one where you could just like hit left, right, and then have it do this. It wouldn't do that for sure.
No.
It would go like, and then you'd get another chance later, maybe,
Yeah.
if it worked at all.
Yeah.
Like, I was pressing right, and it eventually went right.
Yes.
I did
Was
it.
it because of me, or
Yeah.
we'll see.
Do you play games with your family now?
Yeah, actually, well, I don't let the kids play video games or watch TV during the week. But if they're very good all week and get good reports from school, then on the weekend I do let them play some games. Hey, Jeff.
What's up, Jeff?
Why? He's lost.
Bye, Jeff.
On the weekend, we'll play some of the Lego games together, or whatever has multiplayer that we can play at the same time.
So see, now you can go to your dad and be like, dick move, Dad, you know what you should have done?
Weekends.
Weekends, like, use it as a reward system.
Yeah.
The carrot, not the stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was strange. Like because like even after he flipped over, he bought Halo, and we all played together.
He was like, these are evil, but I heard this.
But Halo's fun.
This is pretty banging.
Yeah. It's been strange because like we've actually now my mom has kind of adopted gaming in a sense. I guess I'd say so. Like every time we come home, she's like, "Did you bring Jackbox? We gotta play Jackbox."
Oh, she likes Jackbox?
Yeah, and so and of course like I have a 11 now, almost 12-year-old sister, and so she's like knows more about
What's the gap there?
15 years.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, she knows more about Minecraft than I will ever know. Like, it's crazy. They have like Minecraft modding summer camps. Where you
What?
go and learn how to mod in Minecraft.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
It's like coding camp. Okay. that
yeah,
makes sense.
exactly. Like,
It's a good platform to learn like Java on.
I went to like, I don't know, like physics camp. It was like a stupid summer camp that was held in my high school, but I was in junior high, so it was really cool.
you had to go up to the high school.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
was like, this is like,
Future.
yeah.
But no, me and my brother have also actually me and my brother and my sister have all stayed in touch because he for a while moved to Arkansas. My sister's still up in Dallas. I'm down here. and we'd have Minecraft dates where we all get together at the same time. It's like, okay, we're gonna go build over here, hang out, and just be on voice chat and get to hear from them. But yeah, every time I come home, my mom and stepdad, and like even my aunt's in town, she'll be like, all right, we gotta get Jackbox. We gotta play Trivia Murder. She loves Trivia Murder Party.
Well, it's cool because you can, like, if you've got a bunch of family over like that, you can have your 6 people playing, but
audience.
You can have the audience, and they can all so everyone can be involved. You know, and if you got you get one of those big family get-togethers, it's like you can get everyone around the TV like doing the same thing and getting really involved. Like that's great.
Yeah, we had Thanksgiving at my house this year, and when we got there, like my mom was kind of like setting everybody up. She's like, "Okay, you sit over here. You'll be like, we got to get Jackbox going."
Directing, like, here we go. All right, everything's
I cannot
happening.
overstate how obsessed with Jackbox she is.
Wow.
But I think it's fun just because it's like her bonding with us. Like it's
Well, and Jackbox is like so accessible as well. And you know, there's a chance that there will be people who don't necessarily classify that as like traditional gaming, but I disagree.
No, I mean,
I think it's like those party games are a lot of fun.
That's almost more traditional gaming because that goes back to like old time, like board games.
Old-timey.
Oh, do you remember when there were board games? Remember our games were all on actual physical media?
Where is Adam?
I mean, my family used to play Trivial Pursuit, which is essentially, I mean, just another trivia game. It just now it's on the computer.
Yeah. Did you ever like cheat and try and memorize all the answers?
No, I also never won. So
I just remember I used to have fun just reading the cards. That would be the thing I would do. Just like, I would sit
store
there.
those facts away.
No, they completely. It was like like in one ear out the other. But I still read them, and I found them. I'd go, oh.
Somewhere in your brain that might exist.
Yeah, you'll
Doubtful.
be sitting there one day and Trivia Pursuit will show up and you'll be like, I remember it all. 1998.
But just like
Trivia Pursuit.
remember everything.
I know Kung Fu.
Yeah, I don't play and never really have played basically since like those NES days played with family. But I've made a lot of friends via video games, like via online games.
Yeah.
And when I was living in San Francisco and I was still working for IGN, and Bernie was here in Austin working for some company called Rooster Teeth. That was our date game was Borderlands 2. That was how we would go do stuff together when we were 1,000 miles
some
apart.
Scrag.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun. Like, it was easy to just like get in and do that, and it's how I kept up playing video games with friends from Australia for a while. The time zones ended up making that
rough.
very, very difficult. But there are so many friendships that I've either developed entirely through video games. Like MMOs for me were a really big thing. They gave me a social life. They gave me an online virtual social life that I'd never had before, and I felt like I finally I'd found my people. Because in school I was, like I said, I sat with the conglomerate of all kinds of people who feel like misfits. The melting pot of misfits.
Yeah.
And I would try and make friends. I wasn't very good at it. I'm still not that great at it, but I would sit there in the computer lab, like in my Java class that I was upset because I took it and I was like, I'm going to learn JavaScript. Well, I can't find one, but this one's Java. That's it, right? It's not. So I ended up just spacing out of that class, and mostly I saw the guys next to me in the class, they were all playing StarCraft. And I was like, I don't have StarCraft. I do have Homeworld. And so I was like, that's a space game. They'll be impressed and be my friend. And so I installed that. They didn't remotely care. But then I found, when I was playing stuff like EverQuest, and that, I developed these friendships, and I'd get home from school every day and play with my friends. Some of them turned out to not be as good of friends as I'd hoped. Some of them I developed my first online crushes in EverQuest. I was like, he's a level 50 dark elf necromancer.
Catch.
Yeah.
And he's a big deal.
If you die, he'll always bring you back.
Oh, that's actually really terrifying to think about. But but it was where it's where a lot of my social skills started to develop, because they'd been so very neglected in
A little
school.
atrophied.
Yeah, because I was busy reading my dragon books and my horse books and playing my video games that I didn't.
Not the cool ones, though.
Not the cool ones,
Yeah.
no, clearly. That I didn't really learn how to interact with people. And it was, oddly enough, like video games and then joining fractals that taught me how to interact with people.
Yeah.
That, because, you know, I was a very late bloomer in that regard, but it's like video games. I wonder what I would have been like if I had just stayed like offline by myself forever.
Could you nowadays? I mean, it's
yeah.
impossible to hide from the internet.
I'd always like to think that you'd find something else you're passionate about. Like that. I mean, it's good that it's the video games, but it's the passion inside of the person who it's like they're gonna get it out one way or another. Especially now where you don't have to work 12 hours a day to live, and you have free time to have passions.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, sorry, we do work 12 hours a day.
Have you got like avocado toast money or
I guess-
what? Cool.
Well, I guess we're fortunate enough to where our passion is our job.
All right, Mr. Moneybags over here.
Yeah, whoa, whoa, whoa.
I told you I'm getting all that payoff from
That's
every
true,
game
that's
company.
true. As soon as we stand up, all the advertiser money falls.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we have the
We as
access.
a culture largely have more free time than ever, yes.
And,
Though sadly, a lot of it is because there's many people that don't, for some reason, despite unemployment being very low, don't have jobs.
there's just a lot of people.
There is a lot of people, yeah.
There's a lot of people.
And nobody ever retires anymore, so
No, it's for the birds.
Yeah, well, it's because like you're not going to get your health insurance if you retire.
Yeah.
Very
You're not
political
gonna-
podcast.
You're not going to keep up that mortgage.
it goes both ways sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But have you ever like gotten people into gaming specifically so that then, like family or friends that you like nurtured into gaming so that you could interact with them that way?
I mean, I definitely, introduced Eli to it deliberately as something in the future where we could play more and stuff together. Aside from him, not really. I mean, that was a big way that I made a lot of friends in college, though. Was the group of guys that I used to play Halo with was kind of the core of my social group.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy the way that that Bernie and JD and Teddy and I play games together. We have like a battle station where we have one room and we all have like our 4 things, and so it's amazing that I grew up with non-gamers. They still don't play games, so I don't play games with any of my like grow-up family. But my new family, everyone plays games, and it's really. I had never thought to have that kind of experience, and it's really, really cool. Just being able to Teddy will one weekend want to play Don't Starve. And so we hop back in the Don't Starve together world because I'll play it and research it enough, and I'll like store up supplies so that Teddy can hop in, and I'll be like, here's some food, don't get hungry. Here's a little winter coat for you. And like play that together. And we started playing Pokemon Go together again. And they speak my language, and I speak their language.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's really neat to like bond on that level because with the way that my family grew up, like we love each other and we bond over other stuff.
Yeah.
But this is really special to me. The way that
Like you said, it's been
we all
such a
play together.
significant thing in your life. Like gaming allowed you to have the career and have the life and have like everything. I know it's weird to think like everything. For me, it's like everything I have now like is attributed to like Rooster Teeth, gaming, and anime. And it's like if those had never been in my life, I wouldn't be here right now in this capacity.
Do you ever wonder like what person you would be?
Yeah.
Maybe getting a little deep for this podcast, but yeah, just take one left turn. Had I never asked for mist for Christmas, like what would I be doing now?
Oh, I do that all the time where it's like if I had been my normal self and hadn't read this email, but I just happened to be online that day and read this email that then led to an opportunity here.
Dude, life takes a lot of weird opportunities to make a left turn.
Yeah.
A lot. I mean, the list of things that could have gone very different in my life is sort of staggering, but I've lived a really weird life.
That's the best. Have a fun, long, weird life.
I'm very happy with it, yes.
Yeah, and I'm happy that gaming has continued to be something like throughout my life. That it's it's not something that like I was gonna grow out of. It just like it stayed with me, and I enjoy it so much, and it brings so much value to my life and to my interactions with friends and my new family, and I don't know. Games are just really awesome.
We're on an interesting like trajectory here, where so it is a little bit harder for like my parents. My dad was pretty technically savvy and was a little bit into gaming, but my mom really, it's the old like that's a
Not
computer.
interested, don't care.
Well, she's just not very technically savvy, and but the next generation, like me with Eli, like I'm going to be into gaming for the rest of my life, so that'll be something that we can do together, hopefully forever. So
It does make me wonder what the next thing that we're not going to understand is.
I know,
what's
right?
going to come along?
I
that's like-
refuse. I'm staying on top of
What
technology.
are we going to look at and say, that's a computer?
I'm riding
Or-
technology all the way down.
Or the way people shift interactions, like social media,
Yeah.
has changed so much of the way people.
Yeah, I still don't get Snapchat.
The culture of immediacy when it comes to communication bothers me. I'm not interested in responding just in 30 seconds to everything.
There
It's
we
like,
go. That's something that I'm bad at and will probably never be great at.
Don't want to.
Texting.
I'll get back to you
Not
in a
great
couple
at it.
Give me a
days.
call.
Yeah.
No, because I won't answer.
No, I won't answer that either.
Oh,
It's
see,
like, I'll respond
won't
to you
answer-
when I'm ready because I've got shit going on.
I won't answer the first time. If you leave a message, I'll call back. Or if you
Eventually.
call immediately again, I'm like, okay, this is important.
The second call is usually.
No, I also
important.
do just want to talk on the phone. I just want to like talk with people.
Then you hang up.
Yeah.
All right, I think we're digressing enough. That tells me we're done for the day. So that's it for this episode of Glitch Please. If you're a Rooster Teeth First member, you can check out our post-show New Game Plus exclusively on our website at theknow.tv, roosterteeth.com. Either one will do. And we will see you for more Glitch Please next week. And my friend Stephanie Bendixson is joining us. So, no, next week? No. Hold on. Last week. This podcast is for next week, so Stephanie Bendixson will join us last week, and next week we'll have even some other stuff.
Future past.
But we will see you next week, regardless.
We'll definitely be here next week. Bye.